1849, England's King Charles I was executed for high treason. In 1882, the 32nd President of the United States, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was born in Hyde Park, New York. In 1945, during World War II, Soviet submarine torpedoed the German ship MV Wilhelm Gustloff in the Baltic Sea with a loss of more than 9,000 lives, most of them war refugees. Roughly 1,000 people survived. In 1948, Indian political and spiritual leader Mohandas K. Gandhi, 78, was shot and killed in New Delhi by Nathuram Godse, a Hindu extremist. Godse and a co-conspirator were later executed. In 1969, the Beatles staged an impromptu concert stop at Apple headquarters in London. It was the group's last public performance. Birthdays today, we'd like to wish happy birthday to one of our listeners, Ronald Douglas. Happy birthday, Ronald. Producer-director Harold Prince is 90. Actor Gene Hackman is 88. Actress Vanessa Redgrave is 81. Country singer Gene Pruitt is 81. R&B musician William King of the Commodores is 69. World Golf Hall of Famer Curtis Strange is 63. Actress-comedian Brett Butler is 60. Singer Jodie Watley is 59. Actor-filmmaker Dexter Scott King is 57. Country singer Tammy Cochran is 46. Actor Christian Bell is 44. Actress-singer Lena Hall is 38. Actor Vilma Vadarama is 38. Actress Kylie Bunbury is 29. And actor Jack Thomas is 28. Applause for today. Alexander Yost of Fuquay Arena was named to the Fall 2017 Dean's List at Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And Hannah Hamilton of Laurinburg received a Master of Science in Strategic Communication from Troy University. Need to know daybreak. Blood drives. The Cape Fear Valley Blood Donor Center is experiencing a low blood supply and has 2 blood drives scheduled this week. Donors also may go by the center at 3357 Village Drive, Suite 150, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It also is open the third Saturday of the month from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. All blood types are needed. However, the center has an urgent need for O-negative donors. For more information, call 615-5433. The following blood drives are scheduled today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bullet Furniture on 4901 Morganton Road, and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Fayetteville Technical Community College on 2201 Hall Road. Luncheon. The 3rd Annual Moore County Historical Association Luncheon is set for March 19th at the Shaw House and Garner Cabin at Morganton Road and Broad Street in Southern Pines. There will be 2 seatings at 11:30 a.m. and at 1 p.m. Takeout service will be available. Reservations are required for both the seated meals and takeout. The cost is $20 per person. To reserve a meal and a seat, call area code 910-281-5417. For more information, call area code 910-692-2051 weekday afternoons or go to morehistory.com. Active Shooter Preparedness Class. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office is holding an Active Shooter Preparedness Class for heads of church organizations at 6:30 p.m. on February 6th. The event is open to leaders of any faith-based organization within the county. The training is free and there is no formal registration. Seating is limited to 60. Contact Sergeant Chris Taylor at 223-3323 to reserve a seat. We want to hear from you. Please submit your events in writing at least 10 days in advance. Email calendar at FAYobserver.com or fax complete details to 486-3545. For questions, call 486-3500. Live wire from the Observer staff. Virginia 529 isn't deductible on NC tax return. DM of Fayetteville asked, is a contribution to my nephew's Virginia 529 education savings plan eligible for deduction on my North Carolina tax return? Paul Wolverton answers, you could at one time, but not anymore. 529 plan is a tool designed to help families save money for their children's college education by giving them a break on their taxes. but you use that tax break with your North Carolina income taxes, says spokesman Shore Johnson of the North Carolina Department of Revenue. He said the state legislature eliminated the 529 deduction on state income taxes as of January 1st, 2014. The deduction is still available for federal income taxes. JL of Hope Mills asks, how can I write Shaquille O'Neal? Michael Futch answers, according to the fan mail biz.biz website, you should write to the National Basketball Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal, Mine Incorporated, P.O. Box 951840, Lake Mary, Florida 32795-1840. Among the feedback on that site, an individual posted in early December that he had mailed O'Neal a photo in a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Mine address on September 28th and received it back autographed on December 4th. And that sounds like a good place to start. In brief, blading traffic circle planned, Dublin. The State Department of Transportation wants to build a traffic circle on NC 41 at NC 410 near Blading Community College, south of Dublin. The agency says a roundabout would make the intersection safer and currently has stop signs in all directions. Residents can learn more about the project at an open house from 5 to 7 p.m. February 13th at the Community College, 7418 NC 41 Dublin. Transportation Department officials will answer questions and collect comments about the proposed project. Comments also may be submitted until February 27th by sending them to project engineer Sean Matasuski. Matasuski can be reached at area code 910-364-0603, or you can email spmatasuski at nc.dot.gov. That's spmatuzewski at ncdot.gov and at ncdot Division 6 Office, P.O. Box 1150, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28302. This is by Paul Wolverton. Person rescued from burning home dies by Hirasathi Croy. The person rescued Sunday night from a burning home on the Kemmond Road has died, the Fayetteville Fire Department said Monday. The person's name has not been released. The fire was reported at 9:29 p.m. at 901 Kemmond Road in the Cumberland Heights neighborhood off Bragg Boulevard. When members of the Fayetteville Fire Emergency Management Department arrived, they reported smoke showing from the single-story house, and additional units were dispatched. Firefighters entered the home after bystanders and neighbors told them someone was inside. Crews conducted a search and located one victim. The person was taken by ambulance to Cape Fear Valley Hospital in critical condition. The patient died at the hospital, the fire department said in a news release. The department's fire investigation team is investigating. As the cause of the fire has not been determined, it is believed to have been accidental, the department said in the release. Spring Lake man faces sex charges by Nancy McCleary, Lillington. A Spring Lake man is accused of molesting a minor on multiple occasions, according to a Harnett County Sheriff's Office arrest report. Hector Jose Pilarte Jr., 25 of the 100 block of Old English Lane, is charged with 14 counts of taking indecent liberties with a minor, and 1 count of statutory sex offense with a child younger than 15. Pilarte was arrested Saturday and bail was set at $150,000. No other information was available. Hope couple facing drug fraud charges by Nancy McCleary, Rayford. Rayford couple is facing drug and fraud charges, the Hope County Sheriff's Office said Monday. Cleveland Wilson, 54 of the 100 block of Foxhall Court, is charged with 11 counts of selling or delivering heroin, the Sheriff's Office news release said. His arrest came after a 6-month investigation between May and October of 2017, the release said. His wife, Phyllis Mack Wilson, 54 of the same address, is charged with using someone else's EBT card to purchase food between January 16 and February 3, 2016, The release said. The charge is a misdemeanor, and Phyllis Wilson was released on an unsecured bond. Cleveland Wilson's bail is set at $500,000. ZZ Top Show at Crown Council. A Crown Theater concert by blues rockers ZZ Top that was postponed in October will not be rescheduled. A spokesman for the Crown Complex and Community Concerts announced the cancellation Monday. Due to circumstances beyond our control, we are disappointed that we are unable to present ZZ Top this season, but hope to host this iconic band in the future, said Michael Fleshman, Community Concerts Attractions Director. We apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused, and we are working diligently to present a suitable resolution for our valued season ticket subscribers. Fleshman said that Community Concerts season ticket holders will instead get tickets for a Cole Swindle, Chris Jansen, and Lauren Elena concert March 9th, and a Charles Daniels, Marshall Tucker, and Scooter Brown Band concert on April 7th. We're hoping everybody is happy with the new shows. It's a heck of a value. It's more than 2 for 1 in dollars and show, Fleshman said. It really is a very generous replacement. ZZ Top was expected to kick off Community Concerts' 82nd season October 20th. The show was postponed because of bassist Dusty Hill's illness. Fleshman said the band rescheduled some, but not all of its shows. Community Concerts' next show is tonight's River Dance. The season continues with soul pop group The Commodores on April 14th, and is scheduled to wrap up May 10th with The Illusionists billed as a magic spectacular. Fleshman said people who have questions should call 303-3513. Pipeline tree clearing work to begin. The company planning to build a $5 billion natural gas pipeline that will end in Pembroke plans to start cutting down trees in Cumberland and Robeson counties this week. Atlantic Coast Pipeline, LLC, which won approval of a key water quality certification from the State Department of Environmental Quality on Friday, was formed by Dominion Energy, Duke Energy, and Southern Company Gas to build a 600-mile pipeline from West Virginia to North Carolina. The plan calls for about 186 miles of the 36-inch pipeline to go through North Carolina, running through the northeast corner of Sampson County and eastern Cumberland County before ending in Robeson County. The company will begin limited tree felling and vegetation clearing this week, according to a statement released Monday by Aaron Ruby, a Dominion Energy spokesman. This pre-construction work will be done on foot using handheld equipment, the statement said. We will only be working where we've reached easement agreements with landowners who will receive advance notice before we begin work on their properties. The pipeline is expected to run near Godwin, Wade, Eastover, Cedar Creek, and Grays Creek in Cumberland County, close to St. Paul's in Robeson County before it ends near Pembroke. Construction of the pipeline is expected to start this spring, according to the statement. Pipeline opponents say they are concerned about potential dangers from the project and that the state should rely more on renewable energy such as solar and wind power. Supporters say they believe the pipeline is safe and will provide a clean source of power, will lower the cost of energy, and help economic development in the area. Public safety. Cumberland County arrest Heather Nicole Claire Holmes, 32, of the 6800 block of Breastwood Drive, was charged Monday with larceny, possessing stolen property, and misdemeanor larceny. Bail was set at $10,000. Matthew Philip Rivenbark, 30, of the 5700 block of Torino Drive and Hope Mills, was charged Sunday with obtaining property by false pretense. Bail was set at $2,000. Break-ins. Dollar General store on 1712 Troy Drive was reported at 2:36 a.m. on Monday. Cigars and cigarettes were taken. The 1000 block of Southern Avenue was reported at 9:21 p.m. on Sunday. Electronics were taken. The 3200 block of Sandhill Drive was reported at 2:45 a.m. Sunday. Nothing was reported missing. Indecent liberties charge filed. A Fayetteville man is accused of inappropriately touching a child. Jose Orlando Hernandez Escavaria, 40, of the 300 block of Vancouver Drive, was charged Monday with one count of taking indecent liberties with a minor. Bail was set at $25,000. New gadgets make homes really smart. Army issues vaping oils health warning by Drew Brooks, military editor. The U.S. Army Public Health Center has issued a warning to users of e-cigarettes and other vaping products after approximately 60 troops in North Carolina experienced serious medical issues. A public health alert was issued by the center on Monday. According to officials, soldiers from Fort Bragg and Marines from Camp Lejeune have reported adverse health effects believed to be caused by vaping products that are marketed as containing cannabidiol or CBD oil. The Mac Army Medical Center on Fort Bragg and the Naval Medical Center at Camp Lejeune have treated dozens of troops, according to the alert. Officials did not specify specific numbers for each hospital, nor did they release the time span during which the troops were treated. Service members reported headaches, nausea, vomiting, palpitations, dilated pupils, dizziness, disorientation, agitation, and seizures, officials said. Those are all symptoms associated with synthetic cannabinoids. Complications from the seizures may have resulted in significant neurologic damage in one soldier, and falls and accidents resulting from seizures are blamed for the deaths of 2 Marines, officials said. The Army Public Health Center, which is based at Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland, said 4 additional public cases have been reported in North Carolina, and 33 cases have been reported in Utah. They attribute the adverse health effects to man-made chemicals that are meant to replicate those found in marijuana. Army regulations prohibit soldiers from using such products. Although pure CBD oil has not yet been associated with adverse health effects, CBD vape oils most likely contain synthetic cannabinoids, concentrated tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, and or other hazardous compounds in addition to or in place of CBD oil, officials said. The alert cautioned troops to make sure that vaping products they purchase do not contain CBD oil, THC, or synthetic cannabinoids. This problem has the potential to spread quickly across the Army, officials said. Although some vape oils claim to contain CBD oil, CBD, THC, and or synthetic cannabinoids, many vape oils do not disclose that they may contain illegal and or potentially hazardous substances to include synthetic cannabinoids. Even consumers who may not be seeking products containing CBD oil, CBD, THC, or other synthetic cannabinoids may unintentionally purchase and use them. Military editor Drew Brooks can be reached at dbrooks@fayobserver.com or by calling 486-3567. Local and state. Mayor signs grant to bring 75 computer jobs. Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Colvin signed a grant that will help bring 75 full-time jobs and more than $600,000 in investment to Fayetteville in the next 3 years at a news conference Monday afternoon. Today is a great day in Fayetteville, Colvin said. Colvin said that Advanced Computer Learning Company will be able to move forward on a major expansion and renovation project with the grant documentation signed. The city first announced the company's expansion in October. The company will base its headquarters at 208 Hay Street in downtown Fayetteville. Colvin signed a building reuse and restoration grant from the North Carolina Department of Commerce at the news conference. The grant allows for renovation of vacant buildings, renovation of buildings occupied by existing companies wishing to expand, and construction regarding healthcare entities that will lead to the creation of new full-time jobs. ACLC is a company founded in 2003 that partakes in 3D game development, 3D simulation and e-learning courseware, modern training solutions, and learning management systems. The company currently employs a high percentage of veterans in Cumberland County. A previous Fayetteville Observer story said that ACLC's clients include the U.S. Army Special Operations Command and the U.S. Army Forces Command. A news release added that the project will involve renovating the company's facility to accompany the company's growing operations. In addition, the project will include development of green screen and virtual reality studios to support interactive multimedia instruction development projects, a recording studio sound room, and enhanced fiber optic internet access. The newly created positions are projected to pay $58,400 on average. The company's expansion was the result of a collaboration between the city, Cumberland County, the state, the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, the North Carolina Community College System, Fayetteville Technical Community College, and the Fayetteville Cumberland County Economic Development Corporation. Previously, the city partnered with Cumberland County to match funds provided by the state through the One In-Seat Grant Program. This is an exciting time, Cumberland County Commissioner Glenn Adams said. Partnership does work, and we are moving forward in the city. Clinic to help expunge criminal records. People with criminal records may be able to get their convictions removed from the public records as the 2018 Cumberland County Expungement Clinic. Further, the state's expungement laws recently changed. Some people who previously did not qualify for expungement may now qualify under the new law, a news release says. The clinic was created last year to help people who have gotten into trouble with the law and learn their lesson. Even if their convictions are in the distant past, they still may have trouble getting a job, getting housing, getting credit, and other things as a result of their criminal records. 3 information sessions are scheduled in the coming weeks for people seeking expungement. At these sessions, participants will be screened to see if they are eligible. Those who qualify will move on through the expungement process. The expungements will then take place in court in May. Legal Aid in North Carolina will provide free legal services to those who qualify for the clinic, the release says. Those who don't qualify for expungement may instead join Project Fresh Start, a program set up by Cumberland County Commissioner Charles Evans to help convicted felons find ways to get back into the workforce. People seeking expungement must attend one of these 3 information and screening sessions and bring a form of identification with them. 11 a.m. on Saturday, February 3rd at Covenant Love Church on 420 Dunn Road in Fayetteville. 6 p.m. February 8th at Insoul Church on 1077 71st School Road in Fayetteville, and 11 a.m. on February 17th at Williams Chapel Church on 1230 North Bragg Boulevard in Spring Lake. Support skepticism towards Civil War Center by Myron B. Pitts. Sunday, I wrote about skepticism among some African Americans about the proposed North Carolina Civil War and Reconstruction History Center. From everything I've learned, the center will be a balanced telling of North Carolinians' varied lives through a tumultuous and historically important period. It will be an economic development boom. It can easily position itself as a national clearinghouse for actual facts on war that has been badly spun, particularly by apologists for the Confederate lost cause. It has to get built first. Part of the sticking point for some black folks is the name. I get that. Too often our image of the war is shaped by that rebel battle flag and what it fought to preserve. For the record, that flag will not fly outside the center. The American and North Carolina flags will be posted. Still, Councilman Bill Crisp, who overall supports the center, says the name makes it a tough sell in a city that is nearly half minority. When you say Civil War to a black person, the first connotation is slavery, he says, noting that he relayed his concerns to Mac Healy, who is board director of the center's foundation. Healy told me last week, we knew the term Civil War was a lightning rod for some people. To entertain anybody who could tell us a better description of that period, that's less offensive. My mother-in-law, visiting this past weekend, suggested the name, the North Carolina History Center, with the dates of the time period covered, which Healy says is 1838 to 1898. That might be something to consider. Meanwhile, I found mixed support in an informal poll of the Fayetteville City Council and Cumberland County Board of Commissioners. Both bodies have said they would pay $7.5 million toward the center, which will cost $65 million, be maintained by the state, and be built with a mix of public and private funds. Will they stick to that $15 million investment? We'll see. County commissioners last week at a work session made the center one of its projects to look at for capital planning. Here's a rundown on individual commissioners. Glenn Adams supports the center concept but says it is not a top priority for funding because of the county's economic challenges. He said the county has had to raise taxes and last year lay off staff. That council is for the center and has served from the early days on a committee for it. Charles Evans is firmly against the center. At the Friday work session, he said, I think if we want to be part of a Civil War center, that needs to go to a vote of the citizens. Marshall Faircloth supports the resolution in favor of the center the commissioners passed on January 17th of last year. Jimmy Keith is for the center, but he believes funds should be approved annually. If it does not materialize, the funds could be used for another comparable project, he says. Larry Lancaster, commission chairman, supports last year's resolution. Michael Booth could not be reached in time for this column. As for city council members, Jim Arp says he supports the center if the county and the state fulfill their commitments. Mayor Mitch Colvin is undecided, but he has serious reservations related to the name. Mayor Pro Tem Ted Warren likes the concept, but he's not sure yet where money will come from. He says center funding may come up in an upcoming budget session or more than likely next year. Bill Crisp is supportive, but he has reservations about the name. Johnny Dawkins supports the center, but he says the city always has competing demands such as stormwater system repair. I just lost a bridge on Lewis Street and we had to pay to fix it with no help from the state or feds, he says. I want to see the $7.5 million spread out over 5 years. Most every year something happens that requires immediate funds. DJ Hare is undecided. He has reservations about the name, content, and image for the city. Kathy Jensen says she supports investing in the center if county and other partners support it. Tricia Waddell is undecided. She says economic benefit is clear, but is still researching as to whether it will benefit, educate, and empower the entire community. It is the responsibility of those creating the program design of the center to demonstrate their intended social outcome. Larry Wright is undecided. He has reservations about the content and image. He said the project, if the county backs out, is dead in the water. Tyrone Williams could not be reached in time for the story. As I've written, the center's organizers and staff still have a little more selling to do. I believe they can do it because they have something good to sell. But this project, great as it well may be, won't go without community support. And as Waddell says, that means the entire community. Columnist Myron B. Pitts can be reached at mpitts@fayobserver.com or by calling area code 910-486-3559. And this is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our address is P.O. Box 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at area code 910-672-1600 or toll free at 1-844-709-5656. Your radio host is Robert Bean, and I am proud to serve you today. Chemours considers filter systems for homes. The company that makes a potentially cancer-causing compound has been discovered in private wells near its Bladen County plants wants to install water filter systems at residences served by those wells, state records showed. Chemours told the state that it plans to put granular activated carbon treatment systems on the wells, according to a letter sent to the company by Michael E. Scott, the director of the Department of Environmental Quality's Division of Waste Management. Gen X, a compound that is used to make a non-stick cookware and other products, is produced at the Chemours plant off NC 87 near the Cumberland County line. The chemical has been linked to several forms of cancer in animal studies, but it isn't known if the effect is the same in humans. The state has been investigating Gen X since news broke in June that researchers had discovered it in the Cape Fear River in 2016. Chemours has since agreed to stop discharging the compound into the river. The chemical also has been found in more than 250 private wells around the plant, including more than 120 at levels above what the state's Department of Health and Human Services considers safe. Chemours has been providing bottled water to the residences with elevated levels of Gen X. State officials said in late November that the company was testing a water filter system in a home near the plant. Scott's letter to Chemours on January 19th didn't have details about the system or say how many homes the company wanted to install it. Chemours officials did not respond to emails Monday seeking information about the plans. The letter said Chemours sent the state information on its plans January 11th. The company indicated that it wanted to start installing the filter systems on January 22nd, according to the letter. Scott said in the letter that state officials strongly recommend not implementing the plan or notifying residents about it until the Department of Environmental Quality approves the proposal, which he said would not happen by January 22nd. He recommends in the letter that the company start with a pilot program on 4 residences for at least 3 months, while continuing to provide bottled water to the families with the filtered systems. Bridget Munger, a Department of Environmental Quality spokeswoman, said the department asked Chemours for information about the filter system it installed at the home near the plant. State officials are reviewing the company's proposal, but more information is needed, she said. Activated carbon systems have not been considered a final remedy for contaminated groundwater, she said. State officials plan to discuss the carbon filter proposal at an information session at Bladen Community College on Thursday. The meeting is scheduled for 6 p.m. at the school's auditorium. From the opinion section, the Observer's editorials. Red estates show us the way on Medicaid. The guns are nearly silent now. The Obamacare debate ended mostly unresolved. The Affordable Care Act is still on the books. It's been beaten to within an inch of its life. The quiet that replaced all the thunder from the left and right in Washington comes from the unsettling recognition that nobody really won, but a lot of people lost. Congress somehow managed, after all the ado, to neither repeal it, replace it, nor fix it. Just left it lying on the battlefield, hoping nobody would notice the stinking monument to failure. But maybe something positive is still possible. Maybe something will rise out of those ashes to offer at least a pinch of redemption. One dim light of hope comes from the growing number of red states that are considering expanding their Medicaid programs, an Obamacare feature that few conservative states will touch while the former president was in office, even if the expansion made both economic and social sense. But now that the Trump administration has developed new guidelines that allow states to impose work requirements on Medicaid recipients, at least half a dozen states are seeing serious initiatives to extend Medicaid benefits to the working poor, people who don't qualify for Medicaid health coverage, but who don't make enough money to qualify for Obamacare's insurance premium supplements either. Rock-solid conservative states like Utah, Wyoming, and Idaho are leaning toward expansion now, as are moderate Republicans in Virginia, Kansas, and yes, perhaps even in North Carolina. Even though he says he's apprehensive about imposing work requirements, Governor Roy Cooper earlier this month applied for a federal waiver to do just that. Last year, a bipartisan group of state lawmakers filed a bill that would create such a work requirement, part of the Carolina CARES Act. The bill went nowhere, as it appeared at the time that Congress would repeal and replace Obamacare. But now Cooper appears to be trying to resurrect the dormant legislation and present the Republican-dominated General Assembly with a work requirement route to Medicaid expansion. He told a meeting of business leaders that expansion makes sense, that you're already paying for it. The fact-check and PolitiFact NC ran the numbers and ranked his assertion mostly true. That's because federal taxes paid by North Carolina individuals and businesses are indeed supporting the Medicaid expansions that other states have undertaken. The money helps pay for health insurance benefits for the working poor in other states. We deny them coverage here, but we're not paying enough to cover the entire cost of expansion. That would cost more. Federal funding would cover 95% of the expansion costs now and 90% after 2020. It still would cost the state upwards to $200 million. But then, unreimbursed medical care, often dispensed at the state's hospital emergency rooms, has already cost them hospitals and other health providers hundreds of millions a year, and those costs are being covered by the rest of us in a variety of ways, primarily through higher health insurance costs. And Medicaid expansion, in addition to bringing health care coverage to hundreds of thousands, will also create thousands of new jobs and bring billions more in federal funding to the state. In short, it will be an excellent investment. We hope our legislative leaders see the logic in stepping away from their long-time intransigence on Medicaid expansion. We especially hope that Senate Leader Phil Berger, who now the personification of intransigence, gets it. We are sending our money to other states, robbing our own residents of life-saving care, and passing up a bona fide economic development opportunity, all in the name of politics. Isn't it time to make smarter choices? Letter to the Observer. About the news space. Richard Allegord of Fayetteville writes, "Well now, here I sit reading the January 26th Fayetteville Observer and checking our live wire. Seems that Mr. Lefleur, executive editor of the Fayetteville Observer, is answering a question regarding the paper no longer publishing real estate transactions. He states the paper is focused on its core mission, which is being the best source of local community news. Additionally, they decide there's more value in using that space for news coverage. So that must be the reason the Fayetteville Observer has run the same story, scandal far from over at Michigan State, in both the A section, page 3, and also in the sports section, page 4, titled Sex Abuse Scandal is Far From Over at Michigan State. As this is excellent use of space used for news coverage. The more I read the Observer, the more I understand why people say there is less news and substance in the paper than before it was sold. Good luck to Gatehouse Media as it pursues its core mission of providing to our community." From Fake News to Witch Hunt by Kathleen Parker. Conspiracies, secret societies, witch hunts. During the past year, we've heard reference to all of the above to explain away any suggestion of collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia in the 2016 presidential election. Allegedly, there's a secret society within the Federal Bureau of Investigation aimed at deposing President Trump. There's been a conspiracy theorizing this thanks to some 50,000 text exchanges between two FBI officials involved in Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page were deeply critical of Trump during the campaign, even mentioning a now-debunked hush-hush society. At least one text also suggested that the two were dedicated to preventing Trump's election. It's little wonder that Trump and many of his fellow Republicans concluded that the investigation is corrupt. But then, the two were equally aghast at the prospect of Bernie Sanders' election. That they mocked the selection of a Duck Dynasty star to speak at the Republican National Convention is hardly conclusive evidence of malice. That they are fools seems incontestable, but whether this is enough to condemn the whole agency or to impugn the investigation is definitely not. There are lots of other dots in this constellation of rumor and innuendo, as well as documented facts and events that can be easily corroborated. Objectively, it is neither conjecture nor a conspiracy to observe that the president strikes a defensive pose every time a well-sourced story reveals something that could seem incriminating. Indeed, he has become Clinton-esque, reflexively dodging and covering up whether he needs to or not. Fake news has become the car alarm of Trump's administration, meaningless and loud. Thus, the question is whether Trump is hiding something, an obvious inference, or whether his objectively observed narcissistic personality means he can't tolerate even a suggestion that he may be at fault. The narcissist's first instinct is always to blame others. Combined with his excessive need for admiration, another narcissistic trait, it is conceivable that Trump punches back as a function of a personality disorder. Whatever the verdict, either possibility inspires shivers. Following are the facts thus far. First, Trump fired FBI Director James Comey last May. After, according to Comey, Trump had asked him for loyalty and to drop the probe into ex-National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. His 3-week tenure ended upon revelations that he had lied about conversations with Russia's U.S. ambassador. Flynn subsequently pleaded guilty to lying in exchange for his cooperation in the Russian investigation. Whatever Romeo and Juliet may have fantasized, this episode is factual. Trump also asked Attorney General Jeff Sessions to not recuse himself from the Justice Department's investigation into possible collusion. Sessions did recuse himself for sound reasons and, for a brief spell, became a target of Trump's Twitter feed. Then Trump began pressuring Sessions to fire acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, tweeting that McCabe's wife, Jill, had received $700,000 from the Clintons for her 2015 run for a Virginia state Senate seat. His implication was that McCabe couldn't possibly be objective if his wife was supported by the Clinton machine. Life teaches us that untrustworthy people or people lacking personal integrity always suspect others are the same. The truth is, Jill McCabe received about $500,000 from a political action committee affiliated with then Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe. Though true that Bill Clinton and McAuliffe are talk-everyday friends, the conclusion that McCabe is therefore a dishonest broker seems a long and winding road to a dead end. His wife, for what it's worth, lost. Then, a few days ago, reports surfaced that Trump had ordered the firing of Mueller last June. When White House counsel Don McGahn threatened to quit rather than carry out the command, the president backed off. Meanwhile, we also learned that Mueller wants to interview Trump about Flynn, Comey, and the president's outreach to several top Republicans to quickly end the Senate Intelligence Committee's own investigation into possible Russian collusion in the election. So what is one to think? In these instances, when Trump has felt threatened, he has fired or sought to fire investigative chiefs and has apparently pressured others to either end probes or, in Sessions' case, implicitly to intercede. None of this is proof that he's done anything wrong. In fact, some would say he's acted well within his powers and has the right to drain the swamps as alligators permit. You'd be a fool not to conclude that Donald Trump has something to hide. Washington Post columnist Kathleen Parker's email address is kathleenparker@washpost.com. We welcome your letters. Please write about current topics of general interest. Letters will be edited and cannot exceed 250 words. Include your name, street address, and daytime phone. Your name and hometown will be published. No poetry, open, or anonymous letters. We encourage civility. 4 weeks must elapse between letters from the same writer. Letters must be original by the person who signs the letter and exclusive to this newspaper. Write to editorial page editor, the Fayetteville Observer, P.O. Box 849, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28302. Or you can email eletters@fayobserver.com. And support groups for Tuesdays. Adult Children of Alcoholics and Codependency meets from 1 to 2 p.m. at Friends in Recovery Group at Snyder Memorial Baptist Church, room B 1035, 701 Westmont Drive. For more information, call 988-6858. Al-Anon Serenity Seekers Group meets at noon at 109 Bradford Avenue and 6:30 p.m. at 401 East 1st Street in Lumberton. There's a meeting at Hay Street UMC on 320 Hay Street at 7 p.m. For more information about Al-Anon Serenity Seekers Group, call 850-1444. Takeoff Pound Sensibly meets at 5:30 p.m. at West End Baptist Church Fellowship Hall on 805 West Drive in Lumberton. There's a meeting at 5:30 p.m. at Coach United Methodist Church at 288 East South Street. A 6 p.m. meeting at Raleigh Road Presbyterian Church on 208 South Raleigh Road. A 6 p.m. meeting at College Lakes Recreation Center on 4945 Rose Hill Road. A 6:30 p.m. meeting at Dominion Church at 1874 Cedar Creek Road. For more information about Takeoff Pound Sensibly, call 1-800-932-8677 or visit their website at tops.org. That's TOPS.org. Alcoholics Anonymous has several meetings on Tuesday. There are 7 a.m., noon, 5:30, and 8 p.m. meetings at 626 Sandalwood Drive. There are noon, 5:30, and 7 p.m. meetings at 604 German Street. Holy Trinity Church on 1601 Rayford Road has a noon meeting. There are noon and 6:30 p.m. meetings at 401 East 1st Street in Lumberton. Trinity United Methodist Church on 6974 Rayford Road has an 8 p.m. meeting. Banner Church on 5117 Cliffdale Road has an 8 p.m. meeting. First Baptist Church on 416 South Main Street in Fairmont has an 8 p.m. meeting. There is an 8 p.m. meeting across from Falcon Home in Red Springs, and an 8 p.m. meeting at 40 Marion Road in Lumberton. The Alcoholics Anonymous hotlines are 678-8733 or 678-8002. Narcotics Anonymous to find weekly meeting times and locations. Call 866-418-9500 or go to their website at crna.org. Al-Anon meets at 6:30 p.m. at 401 East 1st Street in Lumberton and 7 p.m. at 320 Hay Street. For more information about Al-Anon, call 678-8002. And Diabetes Management Clinic meets from 8 a.m. to noon on Tuesdays at Better Health of Cumberland County, 1422 Bragg Boulevard. For more information, call 483-7534. Smarter Gadgets, Smarter Homes. New Gadgets Take Technology to a New Level by Amy Dobson, The Washington Post. If you have ever wanted to experience zero gravity but can't afford a trip to the moon, the recent Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas may have a solution. The new bathtub gives the feeling of weightlessness while users bathe by mimicking the natural position of astronauts when they float in low-gravity conditions. But weightlessness isn't for you. There are plenty of other smart home gadgets that can bring your living spaces to the cutting edge of home design. And yet this year's products demonstrate that smart home technology is no longer restricted to performing one isolated task. There's a door alert system that not only provides LED night lights, it also extends the range of your home's Wi-Fi. A voice-activated smart mirror can change the lighting to preset options, like today's weather and traffic, and play music from your favorite internet stations. Jesse Linnell, Senior Product Manager at Kohler, explain why manufacturers are designing products that fulfill more than one function. We know from market research you don't have enough counter space today and you don't have enough outlets today, Linnell said. Do you really want to take up that countertop space and that outlet so you can add this feature? Or do you rather seamlessly integrate it? Fully integrated home security systems are another prominent trend in the smart home space, with one brand incorporating security features even though it isn't traditionally considered a home security company. The automatic lighting system has a button that allows homeowners to quickly turn on pre-selected lights if they hear an intruder. In designing the new gadgets, Linnell said, tech firms are trying to devise how do you take known, little, everyday things to make the experience a little bit better. Here are some of the new home devices introduced at the CES. Home security. ADT Security Services introduced its video doorbell that will integrate with the rest of the home security products under the ADT Pulse brand. Locking or unlocking doors and activating the whole house alarm system can be controlled via the mobile app. A new conversion kit from Kwikset lets you turn traditional door locks into smart locks you can control from any internet-connected device. The Z-Wave technology is compatible with several major lock brands, not just Kwikset, and allows users to monitor which doors are locked, as well as provide remote entry to their home for visitors. The Caseta lighting system by Lutron combines making life easier with several security features. In addition to customizing lighting preferences and schedules, the device has an all-on bedside button option that turns all the pre-selected lights in the house to ward off intruders. It also can turn lights on and off randomly to make it appear that someone is home. The lighting system also integrates with Nest thermostat and smoke alarms. If the alarm is triggered, blinds will open and lights will turn on automatically so people can see their way to escape. Ring, the home security company once known only for its line of video doorbells, has unveiled a full suite of monitoring devices that integrate with their new app. This includes a set of battery-powered and motion-activated outdoor lights that integrate with the alarm and cameras to send alerts to the user's mobile device. It also includes motion-activated cameras, something which can be battery-powered, flood and freeze detectors, smoke and carbon monoxide sensors, and a discrete control hub that integrates all the systems. The home security system, Vivint, previewed its Street View that let neighbors upload recordings from their security cameras to share with other approved users that must live within a 300-yard radius. Users can attach messages to the recordings to start a conversation about the recorded event, as well as request footage from other users for specific dates and times. The app will debut this spring. Being one of several home monitoring devices showcased by Samodo, sends alerts to a mobile device when doors are open. including interior doors, extends a home's Wi-Fi range, and provides LED night lighting and 3 color options. HVAC. Carrier introduced a ductless air conditioner with the highest efficiency rating on the market. The 9,000 BTU H single-zone air conditioner can also provide heat during winter and manage humidity levels using an integrated humidity sensor. Comes with a connected Wi-Fi feature so users can control the device via the mobile app and a motion detector to reduce energy use when no one is in the room. Smart mirror. Federa, the Alexa-enabled smart mirror by Kohler, can adjust to preset lighting customizations, play music and podcasts from sites such as Pandora and Spotify, and provide a motion-activated nightlight. Federa was named a CES Innovation Awards honoree at this year's conference. Jeffrey P. Bezos, chief executive of Amazon, which makes Alexa, also owns the Washington Post. Plumbing. Part of the NeoRest collection by luxury plumbing company Toto includes a bathtub that lets users mimic the natural positions of astronauts, referred to as zero-dimension technology. The flotation tub adds gentle water jets so you can achieve a feeling of weightlessness while you're on Earth. Cooking. Another honoree of this year's CES Innovation Awards is the over-the-range microwave. Home cooks can send cooking instructions for frozen food to their microwaves via a mobile device, including multi-step directions when the recipe requires a change in temperature or settings partway through cooking. Abused California sibling went to college, didn't seek help, by Amy Taxon and Michael Balsamo, the Associated Press, Riverside, California. The community college student with a page boy haircut was quiet, never drew attention to himself, and earned A's semester after semester. Despite ample opportunities, he apparently never divulged the sickening truth that his home was a veritable torture chamber. Authorities say the student, now about 26, was the eldest male among 13 siblings who were held captive in their California home by their parents, David and Louise Turpin. The couple starved all but their 2-year-old daughter for years and sometimes chained their children to bed for months at a time without letting them use the toilet, prosecutors said. However, Louise Turpin regularly drove her oldest son to classes at the nearby Menifee campus of Mount San Jacinto College and waited outside the classroom for him. He was on the President's Honor Roll in fall 2015 and spring of 2016, college spokeswoman Karen Marriott said. Transcript obtained by ABC News showed he attended classes from 2014 until at least 2016 and took up to 15 credits a semester. He earned A's in many classes, including algebra, guitar, public speaking, English fundamentals, and freshman composition. A classmate, Marcy Dunker, said he was always quiet and alone when they attended classes. She tried to say hello to him a few times, but he just looked at her and never responded. It's one of the most sad faces I've seen in years, Dunker said. Moore was usually one of the last people to leave class, she said. None of the names of the abused siblings have been released by authorities, and all were taken to hospitals when they were freed 2 weeks ago from the home in Paris, about 17 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Authorities say the abuse was so long-running, her growth was stunted. Despite near-daily interactions with others outside the home, there's no indication the oldest son ever sought to draw attention to what was happening at home. Gail Kelly, a trainer for the International Association of Trauma Professionals, said that reluctance is understandable. They were born into this. This was normal for them. Some of them may not even realize they've been abused, she said. These children have been living in isolation, so they only know what they know. Abusers often tell children they shouldn't talk about what happens at home, that they deserve to be treated that way. That may have made it difficult for them to escape, she said. Some heat call to return win money by Thomas Beaumont, the Associated Press. Some Republicans in Congress are donating their contributions from Las Vegas billionaire Steve Wynn to charity in light of sexual misconduct allegations against the former Republican National Committee Finance Chairman. The announcements come in light of a Wall Street Journal report Friday that Wynn, a casino mogul and prolific Republican donor, sexually harassed several women. Wynn, chairman and CEO of Wynn Resorts, has denied the allegations. Wynn's home state Senator Dean Heller, who is running for re-election this year, is donating the $5,400 his campaign received last year from the casino mogul to a yet-determined charity, Campaign Aids said Monday. A spokeswoman for Senator Rob Portman said the Ohio Republican would donate the $5,400 his campaign received from Wynn for his 2016 campaign to charities aimed at stemming human sex trafficking. Likewise, an aide to Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson said he was given the $5,400 he got in 2016 from Wynn to a domestic abuse victims service in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. The Republican Governors Association, the chief campaign fundraising group for GOP governor candidates, was returning $100,000 from Wynn's company. It also canceled a contract to hold its 2020 annual convention at the Wynn Las Vegas Resort and said it will not accept contributions from Wynn or his company unless the claims against him are proven false. Aides to House Speaker Paul Ryan confirmed he would donate $1,000 from a Wynn-related business group to a Wisconsin homelessness charity. Representative Karen Handel of Georgia, who won a special election last year, was given the $2,700 her campaign received from Wynn to a Georgia charity for sexual and domestic abuse victims. The announcements by Heller, Portman, and Johnson follow calls Sunday by Republican Senators Susan Collins of Maine and Lindsey Graham of South Carolina to return the money. I don't even think it's a close call to return the money, Collins said on CNN's State of the Union. RNC Chairwoman Rona Romney McDaniel told committee members Saturday she had accepted Wynn's resignation as Finance Committee Chairman. The committee convenes in Washington this week for its annual winter meeting. The allegations against Wynn are part of a wave of sexual misconduct claims against prominent media, entertainment, and political figures that gained momentum last fall after the emergence of detailed allegations of rape and harassment involving movie producer Harvey Weinstein. During the fall, RNC officials, including McDaniel, noted that Weinstein had been a top donor for Democrats, including 2016 presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. In October, McDaniel tweeted that if the Democratic National Committee truly stands up for women like they say they do, then returning Weinstein's dirty money should be a no-brainer. The RNC has not yet said whether it will return any money donated by Wynn. This is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency. We broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University, and our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a nonprofit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. When making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our address is P.O. Box 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us at area code 910-672-1600 or toll free at 1-844-709-5656. The radio host is Robert Bean, and I am proud to serve you today. It is the top of the hour and time for obituaries. Death notices. The following deaths have been reported. Upcoming editions of the Fayetteville Observer will contain complete obituary information. In Cumberland County, Helen Louise Reed, 70, of Fayetteville, Affordable Cremations of North Carolina. John A. Rickson, 62, of Fayetteville, Pinecrest Funeral and Cremation Services, Oak Mills. Mary Burden, 68, of Fayetteville, Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Willie Ray, 74, of Fayetteville, Colvin Funeral Home and Crematory. Jerry Bernard Crossland, 66, of Fayetteville, Wiseman Mortuary. Judy Bell Locke, 72, of Fayetteville, Wiseman Mortuary. Jessica M. Cox, 31, of Autryville, Fayetteville Cremation Services. In the Cape Fear region, Ashley M. Cole, 91, of Oxford, Unity Funeral Services of Fayetteville. Michael Brewington, 67, of Roland, Locklear and Son Funeral Home. Annie McLaughlin Leslie, 77, of Durham, Purcell Funeral Home, Laurinburg. Ora T.T. Leake, 91, of Laurinburg, McFactor Funeral Home. Mary L. McDuffie, 64, of Fayetteville, formerly of Laurinburg, Morris Funeral Home. Kelly McLean, 72, of Irwin, Stafford Funeral Home, Dunn. In Cumberland County, Charlotte Evelyn Kahn of Fayetteville passed away at Cape Fear Valley Medical Center, surrounded by family on January 18, 2018, at the age of 92. She will forever be remembered. Services will be held at Union Fields Cemetery in Queens, New York, at a later date. Services entrusted to Herring Funeral Care and cremations. William Thomas Hux, 84, of Fayetteville, died Sunday, January 28, 2018. Graveside service will be held Thursday at 11 a.m. at Cumberland Memorial Gardens. Visitation will be at Rogers and Brees Funeral Home Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Burial will be at Cumberland Memorial Gardens. Services entrusted to Roger and Brees Funeral Home. Joshua Allen Blevins, 27, of Stedman, died Tuesday, January 23, 2018. A memorial will be held Saturday at 3 p.m., January 27, 2018, at Cokesbury United Methodist Church. Services entrusted to Affordable Cremations of North Carolina. Ruth Ray Berkowitz, 89, of Fayetteville, passed away on Sunday, January 28, 2018, at UNC Johnston Healthcare Center in Clayton, with her family by her side. Graveside services will be held on Thursday, February 1st, 2018, at 1 p.m. at Lafayette Memorial Park on Ramsey Street. The family will receive friends at Jernigan Warren Funeral Home 1 hour prior to the service. Arrangements by Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. Dr. William Robert Cavanas, 82, of Fayetteville, died Monday, January 29, 2018. Memorial will be held Wednesday at 2 p.m. at St. John's Episcopal Church. Reception immediately following the service at the church. Services are entrusted to Rogers and Brees Funeral Home. Grace J. Beard, 95, of Fayetteville, died Monday, January 29, 2018. Funeral will be held this Thursday at 11 a.m. at Cedar Creek Baptist Church. The visitation will be at Cedar Creek Baptist Church Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and the burial will be at Cedar Creek Baptist Church Cemetery. Services entrusted to Jernigan Warren Funeral Home. Region and elsewhere, William Daggett Holmes Jr., 81, passed away peacefully on Thursday, January 25, 2018, at Conway Medical Center. Celebration of William's life will be held at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, January 31st, 2018, at Burroughs Funeral Home, 3558 Old Kings Highway, Burroughs Inlet, South Carolina, 29576. The family will receive friends from 12 p.m. until the time of service. Funeral procession and burial at Ocean Woods Memorial Cemetery, 2504 South Kings Highway, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, 29577 will immediately follow full military honors. Condolences may be made at www.burrowsfh.com. Burroughs Funeral Home's number is area code 843-651-1440, and Burroughs Funeral Home of Burroughs Inlet has been entrusted with the arrangements. Anna Ray Pervat, 72, of Lumberton, died Sunday, January 28, 2018. There will be a graveside service this Thursday at 2 p.m. at Floyd Memory Gardens in Lumberton. There will be a visitation at the funeral home Wednesday night and other times at the home of Norman and Betty Lou Pervat Wednesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Linda E. West, 72, of Lumberton, died Friday, January 26, 2018. Her funeral will be Wednesday at 11 a.m. at Floyd Memorial Chapel in Lumberton. There will be a visitation at the funeral home prior to the service Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. The burial will be at Gardens of Faith Cemetery in Lumberton. Pearlie McLand, 91, of Roseboro, died Wednesday, January 24, 2018. Funeral will be held Wednesday at 1 p.m. at Fayetteville Community Church. Visitation will be at Butler and Son Funeral Home Tuesday from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. The burial will be at Roseboro Cemetery. Services entrusted to Butler and Son Funeral Home. Rhonda Akers Sweet, age 53, of Fayetteville, North Carolina, passed away peacefully on the 25th of January 2018 at her home in Woodbridge, Virginia, surrounded by family and friends after a prolonged battle with ovarian cancer. Family will receive friends at the Mount Castle Church Funeral Home on 4143 Dell Boulevard in Dell City, Virginia, 22193 on Wednesday, January 31st, 2018, from 6 to 8 p.m. The memorial service will be held on Thursday, February 1st, 2018, from 2 to 3 p.m. at the Fort Belvoir Main Post Chapel on 5950 12th Street in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, 22060. Burial will be at a later date in Arlington National Cemetery. In lieu of flowers, memorial contributions may be made to the Ovarian Cancer Research Fund Alliance. Their website is www.ocrfa.org, or contributions may be made to the Walter Reed Society. Their webpage is www.walterreedsociety.org. Paul Gene Hinkle Sr., 90, of Sanford, died Friday, January 26, 2018. Funeral will be this Wednesday at 2 p.m. at Barbecue Presbyterian Church. Visitation will be at Smith Funeral Home of Broadway Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The burial will be at Barbecue Presbyterian Church of Sanford. Services entrusted to Smith Funeral Home of Broadway. James Robert Bishop, 74, of Harrows, died Monday, January 29, 2018. Graveside service will be held this Wednesday at 1 p.m. at Smith Cemetery. Visitation will be at Carter Funeral Home Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The burial will be at Smith Cemetery. Services entrusted to Carter Funeral Home. Ricky Anthony Graham, 58, of Shannon, died Saturday, January 27, 2018. Funeral will be held this Wednesday at 2 p.m. at Bridges Grove AME Zion Church of Shannon. The burial will be at Bridges Grove Church Cemetery in Shannon. Services are entrusted to Purcell Funeral Home of Southern Pines. Irvin Lee Ivy, 62, of St. Paul's, died Saturday, January 27, 2018. Funeral will be held this Wednesday at 2 p.m. at Zion Hill Baptist Church. The visitation will be at St. Paul's Funeral Home Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The burial will be at Ivy Family Cemetery. Services entrusted to Boyles of St. Paul's. And Robert C. Terry, 68, of New York City, formerly of Dunn, died Monday, January 22, 2018. The funeral will be this Friday at 1 p.m. at Dafford Funeral Home Chapel of Dunn. The burial will be at Rest Haven Cemetery of Dunn. Services are entrusted to Dafford Funeral Home of Dunn. And that concludes today's obituaries. Billy Graham, don't turn your back on inquisitive friends. KCC writes, my friend claims to be interested in God, but he keeps bringing up questions I can't answer. I'm beginning to wonder if he's really serious. He just enjoys putting me on the spot. Am I wasting my time trying to help him? The answer, I'm thankful for your concern for your friend. And unless he clearly tells you he's not interested in discovering answers to his questions, I hope you'll continue trying to help him. God's promise is clear. My word will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11. I suggest 3 things concerning your friend. First, pray for him regularly and seriously. Even if you answered all his questions, it wouldn't persuade him to repent of his sins and give his life to Jesus Christ. Only the Holy Spirit can convict him of his sins and convince him of the truth of the gospel. That's why prayer is so important in seeking to win others to Christ and help him find answers to his problems and doubts. He isn't the first person to ask these questions. For centuries, thoughtful Christians have pondered them and answered them. The local Christian bookstore or Christian internet site can help you. The Bible says always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. Finally, encourage him to look seriously at Jesus Christ as he is found in the Gospels of the New Testament. Doubts fade in the light of Christ, and if he refuses, ask God to give you the courage to confront him with his unwillingness to face God's truth honestly. Readers can write to the Reverend Billy Graham at the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, 1 Billy Graham Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina, 28201, or call 877-2-GRAHAM. The website for the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association is at billygraham.org. This comes from Tribune Media Services. The Universal U-Click, Dear Abby, Gene Phillips. Relative gladly funds niece's insurance, but not vacations. Dear Abby, my 25-year-old niece still lives at home. She works full-time and attends college online. She's a hard worker, doesn't do drugs or engage in risky behavior. I pay her a bonus for every A she earns, and I also pay for her health insurance. While I gladly pay the college bonuses, I had misgivings about continuing to pay for her health insurance even though I can afford it. She doesn't make much money at her job, and she goes out to restaurants and bars often, attends concerts, and takes trips out of state 3 or 4 times a year. When I was her age, I also went to college, worked a low-paying job, and lived with my mother. Though I went out with friends often, I never wasted money on those other things, especially vacations. Should I continue paying her health insurance for her? I don't know if I'm being judgmental or enabling irresponsible behavior. Protective in Houston. Dear Protective, you are obviously a generous person, but yes, you are being judgmental. Your niece is working, studying, and living a clean and healthy life. You had a social life when you were your niece's age. You should not begrudge her having hers. Going to restaurants, bars, and concerts is normal for a young woman her age. However, if you prefer not to subsidize the vacations because you feel they are excessive, discuss your feelings with her before deciding what to do. Dear Abby, my husband and I have lived like nomads for the last few years. We have bought, sold, and moved many times for all sorts of silly reasons. 5-year-old daughter finally started school, yet we don't feel at home here. We now realize buying and selling may not be for us, so we are renting, and we still aren't happy. We moved here to be close to my oldest and dearest friend, whose kids are now grown, and to my sister, who hardly talks to us or sees us. My husband's sister and her husband's family love us and treat us well. They have suggested we should move by them. They have kids our daughter's age. The only issue is possibly not finding a good home or school. Private school could be an option. Would another move be bad? Should we make a final move before our daughter gets vested in school and friends? It would put us within walking distance with several families we spend a lot of time with and who love us very much. We are afraid of judgment from everyone. Please help us sort it out. Local nomads in Illinois. Dear nomads, forget about the judgments. Survive them. The older your daughter becomes, the more difficult moving away from the people she knows will be for her. If you're going to move to an environment more compatible for you, your husband and your daughter, the time to do it is now, so her education and social relationships will not be as disrupted as they would be when she is older. Readers can write to Dear Abby at dearabby.com or P.O. Box 69440, Los Angeles, California, 90069. Horoscope by Stella Wilder. Born today, you tend to be a rather emotional individual, and you wear your heart on your sleeve so that people around you know what is going on with you on a deeply personal level, or at least think they do. Aquarius, January 20th through February 18th. You may have to take on more than you have bargained for, which is fine with you, provided you can do the work the way you want to do it. Pisces, February 19th through March 20th. You're in no mood to have someone else tell you how to do every little thing. Today you can prove yourself to someone in an important situation. Aries, March 21st through April 19th. Sometimes the messages you get may seem to conflict until you deconstruct them and apply them point by point. This is one of those times. Taurus, April 20th through May 20th. You're working hard to resolve a central issue, but someone may be standing in your way right now. It's time to invoke a rule. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th. You may react to someone else's behavior in a way that betrays more than surprise. Cancer, June 21st through July 22nd. You receive news from a friend that has you reconsidering a recent decision. It's not too late to make changes to a future itinerary. Leo, July 23rd through August 22nd. You are likely to be offered a deal of sorts by someone who wants to get to know you and your work a lot better. This could be of mutual benefit. Virgo, August 23rd through September 22nd. You are eager to make changes to your financial situation that are more permanent than usual. Today a sudden need gets in the way. Libra, September 23rd through October 22nd. You're one of a few people who are quick to deal with a coming problem. There's any time you have today to prepare yourself. Scorpio, October 23rd through November 21st. You'll realize today how much you have in common with someone who seems at first glance to be different from yourself. Sagittarius, November 22nd through December 21st. You cannot be accused of a lapse of judgment today, and what you do may not be as successful as you had hoped. Capricorn, December 22nd through January 19th. You and a friend had better talk about the one difficult issue that stands between you. Prepare for a rift that could be long-lasting. Copyright 2018 United Teachers Syndicate. Duke Energy coal ash neighbors in lawsuit by Emery P. Delicio, The Associated Press, Raleigh. Neighbors of Duke Energy Corps' unlined coal ash pits went to court after the company said their $5,000 goodwill payments required them to give up future health claims linked to contaminated well water. And now they're ending the lawsuit. Lawyers representing hundreds of neighbors of the company's coal plants dropped their lawsuit last week. Charlotte-based Duke Energy posted an online clarification. It said that people taking their money couldn't sue over health claims. Children who blame groundwater pollution for health problems would not be barred from suing. The families now have more power to hold Duke accountable for future harms and losses if they occur. Amy Brown, a neighbor of the company's Allen Power Plant in Belmont, said in a statement. She declined to say more about the deal during a telephone call, citing restrictions imposed with the settlement. Her Salisbury attorney, Mona Lisa Wallace, said the conditions accompanying Duke Energy's legal release have been changed in ways that satisfied the neighbors. As we talked with the residents, we were able to clarify misinformation and confusion about what is and is not included in the release they'd be asked to sign, Duke Energy spokeswoman Paige Sheehan said in an email. Neighbors taking the $5,000 goodwill payment now will agree that they release Duke Energy and its affiliates from liability for any and all claims, included but not limited to any claims for personal injury or property damage related to the presence of any constituents in my groundwater or well water at the property identified herein allegedly caused by Duke Energy's coal combustion residual impoundments. Duke Energy says neighboring water wells haven't been contaminated by chemicals from its coal ash pits. Coal ash, the remains after coal is burned for electricity, contains arsenic, lead, mercury, and other heavy metals. In 2015, state scientists warned more than 300 coal ash neighbors that their well water contained risky levels of a cancer-causing chemical. Former Governor Pat McCrory's administration in 2016 reversed that advisory, saying the previous warning used a too cautious health standard. The state law requires the company to install by October either new municipal water lines or a household water treatment system to homes within a half-mile of coal ash sites. The $5,000 payment to neighbors agreeing to forego future litigation are separate from one-time payments, described as covering about 25 years of water bills resulting from the new public water connections. Some lump sum payments for water bills may be as high as $22,000, the company has said. The utility, one of the country's largest electricity companies, delivers electricity to about 7.4 million customers in the Carolinas, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Florida. IS attack on military academy and Afghan capital kills 11 by Rahim Faiz and Amir Shah, the Associated Press, Kabul, Afghanistan. Islamic State militants attacked Afghan soldiers guarding a military academy in the capital on Monday, killing at least 11 troops and wounding 16. The attack, which began before dawn and continued well past daybreak, was the latest in a wave of relentless violence in Kabul this month unleashed by the Taliban and the rival Islamic State group that has killed scores and left hundreds wounded. President Donald Trump condemned the recent spate of violence, saying innocent people are being killed left and right, including children. After previously expressing support for Afghan efforts to reach a political settlement with the insurgent group, Trump said there's no talking to the Taliban. Afghan Defense Ministry spokeswoman Daulat Waziri said a suicide bomber struck the military unit guarding the academy, setting off a gun battle. 2 of the attackers were killed in the gun battle, 2 detonated their suicide vest, and 1 was arrested by the troops, he said. Waziri confirmed that 11 soldiers were killed. He said the attack was against an army unit providing security for the academy, and not the academy itself. The Islamic State affiliate in Afghanistan, which calls itself Khorasan Province, claimed the attack in a statement carried by its Amaq news agency, saying its fighters targeted the academy. The academy, known as Marshal Fahim National Defense University, is sometimes called Sandhurst in the Sand, like a reference to the British Academy. Named after Muhammad Fahim, the country's late vice president and a military commander of the Northern Alliance that fought the Taliban. The academy, when it was inaugurated in 2013, after British forces oversaw the development of its officers' school and its training program. The academy was also the site where the highest-ranking U.S. military officer to be killed in the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq lost his life in August of 2014. Army Major General Harold J. Green, the deputy commander of the transition force in the country, was shot and killed by an Afghan soldier in a so-called insider attack that was later claimed by the Taliban. The same academy was also attacked in October last year by a suicide bomber who killed 15 officers. The attacker was on foot and detonated his suicide vest as the on-duty officers were leaving the facility. That attack was also claimed by the Taliban. I feel like I am on the streets. Many Puerto Ricans adrift in U.S. hotels after Hurricane Maria by Claudia Torrens, the Associated Press, New York. After they lost their home in Puerto Rico to flooding during Hurricane Maria, Inky Melendez fled with her family to the U.S. mainland with 3 suitcases and the hope it wouldn't take long to rebuild their lives. It hasn't worked out that way. More than 4 months later, the family of 5 is squeezed into 2 rooms in a hotel in Brooklyn. While her husband looks for work, they are struck in limbo, picking up paper plates and stepping over clothes in cramped quarters as they try to get settled in an unfamiliar city. After the hurricane, we told the kids that every day was going to be an adventure, but not like this, said the 43-year-old Melendez. This is turning out to be really hard. Around the U.S., many Puerto Ricans are similarly adrift in hotels because of the September 20th hurricane. The move north spared them from the misery of the storm's aftermath on the island, but the transition has often proved to be difficult, disruptive, and expensive as people try to find housing, jobs, schools, and even furniture and clothes to start fresh on the mainland. Melendez and her family shuffled between staying with relatives to a homeless shelter to a small hotel in the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn, forcing her to change schools for her 3 daughters in the middle of the semester. The instability is terrible, she said, as her husband, who worked as a cook at an army base near San Juan, used a glass bottle to mash plantains to make a traditional Puerto Rican dish. Adding to the worries for large numbers of Puerto Ricans is that hotel reimbursements from the Federal Emergency Management Agency have started to run out. Many say they can't afford temporary housing without assistance. It's stressful, said Yalitza Rodriguez, a 35-year-old from the southern Puerto Rico town of Yahuco, who has been staying at a hotel in Queens with her elderly mother and husband while he looks for work. They don't get an extension, but will have nowhere to live. Maria destroyed between 70,000 and 75,000 homes and damaged an additional 300,000, said Leticia Hover, a spokeswoman for Puerto Rico's housing department. The effects of the storm included the widespread loss of power, which is still not restored in some places. Many businesses closed. The result has been an exodus to the mainland. The Center for Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College estimated in an October study that between 114,000 and 213,000 Puerto Ricans would move to the U.S. mainland over the next 12 months. Most were expected to settle in Florida, followed by Pennsylvania, Texas, and New York. FEMA says there are nearly 4,000 families, more than 10,000 people receiving hotel assistance from the agency in 42 states because their homes in Puerto Rico are too damaged to occupy. The agency extended the expiration for the program from January 13th to March 20th at the request of the island's governor, but all cases are reviewed for eligibility every 30 days, and the payments could end for some people sooner. It's impossible to know how many are in temporary housing without any aid or staying with families. Inside politics, Pittenger posts big 4Q fundraising total. Republican Robert Pittenger, a Republican who represents North Carolina's District 9, announced in a news release that his campaign raised more than $300,000 during the fourth quarter of 2017. The number accounts for the Pittenger for Congress account as well as the Pittenger Victory Fund account. His campaign also has knocked on 10,443 household doors, made 22,937 phone calls, recruited 627 individual yard signs locations, recruited 144 volunteers, and surveyed 5,177 voters across the district, the release said. This strong fundraising quarter and exceptional grassroots numbers are directly attributable to the commitment of our dedicated volunteers and donors, Pittenger said in the release. The passage of legislation to reduce our taxes and create jobs will transform our economy, which is further reason why business and conservative leaders are out in full force with his re-election campaign. The release also announced that Pittenger has scheduled for Senator James Langford, a Republican representing Oklahoma, and John Bolton, a former ambassador, to come to the district in the near future. Democratic polling. A poll conducted by Public Policy Polling, a Democratic polling firm based in Raleigh, found that Democrats could lead in the 2018 elections. Among voters who are very excited about voting in this year's election, the poll found that Democrats had the edge with 13 points at 53 to 40. The poll found that this may be because 49% of voters approve of what Democratic North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is doing, whereas 33% of voters disapprove of what Republican President Donald Trump is doing. The poll also looked at how voters stand on two partisan issues, the tax reform plan and the health care debate. In regards to tax reform plans favored by Republicans, 37% of North Carolina voters approve of it, and 42% disapprove. In regards to the health care debate regarding the future of Obamacare, 50% of North Carolina voters support Obamacare and 36% oppose. The poll also found that voters are not happy with the General Assembly. Only 19% of voters approve of the job state legislators are doing, while 51% disapprove. Meetings. The Cumberland County Democrats will meet at 10 a.m. Saturday at the Horace Sisk Gymnasium of Fayetteville Technical Community College at 2201 Hall Road to organize precincts. All Democrats are invited to participate. Call 624-6516 or 489-0100 with questions about the meeting. To submit items for Inside Politics, email them to insidepolitics@fayeobserver.com. The deadline is Thursday. This is the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency, broadcast from the campus of Fayetteville State University. Our signal is carried by WUNC Chapel Hill. As a non-profit agency, we rely on public donations. We request your support to continue our services. In making charitable donations, please keep the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service in mind. Our address is P.O. Box 35029, Fayetteville, North Carolina, 28303. If you have any questions or comments, please call us. Area code 910-672-1600 or toll free at 1-844-709-5656. The host is Robert Dean, and I am proud to serve you today. What folks around town want to hear. President Donald Trump talks to Congress and the American people in his first State of the Union address tonight. The speech, which provides him with the biggest stage he will have to chart an agenda for 2018, is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. The president's first year in office has proven to be a polarizing roller coaster ride, yet his inaugural State of the Union address could offer an opportunity for Trump to set aside the sound and fury rhetoric for a more conciliatory message to Americans. Using the televised speech to reach voters beyond his loyal base, the president could use part of this opportunity as a sales pitch for his administration's plan to protect the undocumented immigrants known as Dreamers. He could discuss the creation of jobs or improving the healthcare system and the economy. According to reports, early versions of Trump's speech indicate he will adopt a unifying tone in his address, pushing a theme of a safe, strong, and proud America. The Fayetteville Observer talked to people around town asking what they would like to hear from the president. Here is what 5 people had to say. Paula McCosh, age 49, a resident of Fayetteville. Her occupation, an associate pastor of Mount Pisgah Baptist Church in Fayetteville. What she wants to hear. I would like to hear the president address the immigration issues, in particular the plan for DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and the funding and the plans for the wall. Border control. I'd like to hear about the plans to fund the wall project, especially since it's supposed to be partially funded through Mexico, and especially since that seems to have dwindled away. I'd like to hear from us talk about dealing with immigration, but probably dealing with it more in segments. It's a more pressing one than just being DACA. I don't think it's a wise decision to try to lump all of the immigration together into one bill or proposal. Lloyd Landry, age 59, a resident of Fayetteville, is a building contractor, what he wants to hear. I would really like to hear him talk about what he has accomplished, tell the American people what he has done, maybe elaborate on the top 3 things he'd like to accomplish in the next year. I think he's done a good job. I'd like to see him get all the politicians to work together, get away from standard politics, and see them taking care of business. Maggie Nichols, age 28, a resident of Fayetteville, unemployed military spouse, what she wants to hear. About the military. My husband and I depend on his being in the military. Like he has been in the military for 10 years and he wonders, will I still have a job next year? They're cutting military jobs and he worries whether he will be able to get a job. I don't have a job and my husband is the sole supporter. I need him, Trump, to support our men and women. Rebecca Millian, age 24, resident of New York City, visiting family in town. Her occupation, culinary arts and food service management. What she wants to hear. I'd like to hear him say, I'm sorry for being ignorant, for lying, saying he's taking care of the vets when he's not. He's a manipulator. I think he feeds his base. He gives them these thoughts about how he's going to take care of the people with insurance and health care when those people that are his base are the ones who use it more than any other group of people. He says he's going to strip people of all their needs and force them to pay a high amount of premiums for insurance and strip people of all their needs, especially when you can't help but have the disabilities that you have. I think he's the devil himself. I think America has reaped what it sowed because he has never apologized or admitted to all they, his administration, allegedly have done in the part and tried to hide it. George Clement, age 29, a resident of Fayetteville, a food service industry student, what he wants to hear. Not taking taxes or tax money away from people. Probably something about taxes and some more political stuff I'm not really up to date on. I try not to really put myself in that because I've got my own problems. I feel like he's doing a good job as the president so far, but we can always be better. We should never settle for where we are right now. Dutch study. Gen X found in gardens. Raleigh. Potentially harmful compounds connected with a Bladen County plant were found in vegetables grown around a similar facility in the Netherlands, scientists say Monday. Gen X and PFOA also were found in grass and leaves around the Dutch plant, according to the 4 scientists from the Netherlands who talked to the state's Science Advisory Board in a video conference call. They said they expect to get information in May about whether the compounds are in fish from bodies of water near the plant. North Carolina officials have been investigating Gen X since news broke in June that researchers had discovered it the previous year in the Cape Fear River. The compound was later found in more than 250 private wells around the Comores plant in Bladen County, including more than 120 at levels above the state's health goal. Comores makes Gen X at the facility off NC 87 near the Cumberland County line. The compound, which is used in non-stick cookware and other products, has been linked to testicular, pancreatic, and liver cancer in animal studies, but it isn't known if the effects are the same in humans. The FOA, which is also known as C8, has a suggested risk for cancer according to the Environmental Protection Agency. The compound has been shown to cause tumors in animals. DuPont, which previously operated the Bladen County plant, agreed in 2009 to stop using C8. The company was facing a class action lawsuit from thousands of people in Ohio and West Virginia because it had been discharging the compounds into the Ohio River since the 1950s. DuPont in Chemours, which was formed as a spin-off company in 2015, agreed last year to settle about 3,500 lawsuits, with each company agreeing to pay $335.35 million and up to $25 million a year each for the next 5 years for potential later claims. The scientists from the Netherlands talked to the State Science Board during its meeting Monday. The scientists said testing from carrots, beets, lettuce, and other vegetables at 10 sites around the Chemours plant there were tested. About 60% did not have Gen X or PFOA, but those grown closer to the plant had both, they said. They did not say how far out from the plant the tests were conducted. Gen X, which replaced C8, has been detected in honey grown around the Bladen County plant, but it's not known if vegetables in the area have been tested or if the honey was tested for C8. Most of the area around the plant is farmland, and many residents in the area have gardens. A university in the Netherlands conducted a separate test last year on grass and leaves and found the two compounds in both, according to the scientists. Chemours is testing the fish as part of the process of obtaining permits to operate the plant, they said. Detlef Knapp, a professor at NC State University who led a team of researchers that discovered Gen X in the river, is a member of the Science Advisory Board. He said he took note of the information from the Netherlands about the potential exposure to the compounds from food. He said he'll look at the results of the test on fish. That data will be interesting, he said. The Chemours plant in Bladen County is just upstream from a lock and dam site, where residents often put boats in the river to fish. Another action at the meeting, the board decided to get more detailed information on the health effects of Gen X before deciding whether the state's health goal for the chemical should be changed. The board asked the State Department of Health and Human Services to develop an evidence table from available studies of Gen X. That information will be used to come up with a more detailed analysis of the potential impact of the compound. The department used a traditional method to reach the health goal, which is considered provisional. It has 140 parts per trillion. Informational meeting. Officials with the Departments of Environmental Quality and Health and Human Services will provide updates and answer questions about Gen X Thursday at 6 p.m. at Bladen Community College Auditorium on 7418 NC 41 West in Dublin. A moment to seize. Speech gives Trump opportunity to reach beyond his base by Justin Sink, Margaret Tlaib, and Jennifer Jacobs, Bloomberg. Donald Trump's State of the Union address tonight will be one of the president's last best chances to win over more of the American public to his nationalist agenda ahead of midterm elections that will be a referendum on his tumultuous administration. White House officials say the president will dial back his signature combative posture and instead frame his policy proposals from immigration to infrastructure as areas where Democrats and Republicans can work together. Trump will still take ample time to argue that the U.S. economy has been revitalized by policies that have had little to no bipartisan appeal, including the tax overhaul and efforts to curb regulations. He will talk about the fact that America is open for business, and the president will also make an appeal to Democrats to say we need to rebuild our country and make an appeal that you do infrastructure. White House Legislative Director Mark Short said on Fox News Sunday, "We need to do it in a bipartisan way." Trump will enter the House chamber tonight as the most unpopular modern president to deliver his first State of the Union speech. He's averaged just a 38% approval rating over his first year in office, according to Gallup. White House aides are marshaling allies to spread the word about the change in tone and the direction of his primetime address as a tacit admission that Trump's approach to government so far has done little to endear him to voters outside of his base. Damaging revelations from the probe into his campaign's possible collusion with Russia have been matched by controversies of the president's making, with many Americans dismayed by his handling of racial issues, attacks on the media, and subverting of political norms. The result of that constant disarray, fanned by regular West Wing backstabbing in the press and a relentless series of political missteps, is a president and party voters are resistant to crediting even for successes, including recent economic gains. The guy has performed so poorly and has created such animus and a cloud of suspicion about him, said presidential historian Robert Daley. The essential element for any president is credibility. If you're not a credible or reliable spokesperson for himself, how can you govern in this country? The White House hopes to combat that sentiment with a speech arguing that the accomplishments of the administration's first year were the unprecedented result of a unique president, and that economic growth has lifted up the entire country. Organized around the theme of building a safe, strong, and proud America, according to two senior administration officials, the president's tone will be optimistic as he argues that he cares about improving life for all Americans. Ultimately, Trump will need to reconcile his message that the nation is on the upswing with the prevailing sentiment and he's taken the country in the wrong direction, Daley said. I'm sure he's going to talk about the economy and how terrific the stock market has been, and he will pound on his chest as he usually does as to his achievements, that he's a great man and a great president, Daley said. Viewers will balance that message against the president, who seems to thrive on combativeness and fighting with people and diminishing them to make himself feel better. In the speech, Trump is expected to address his plans for rebuilding the nation's crumbling bridges, roads, and airports, long viewed by Republicans and Democrats as a potential area of bipartisan support. D.J. Griffin, Trump's infrastructure advisor, said last week that the administration plans to send its proposal to Congress in the coming weeks. The White House plan would rely on leveraging at least $200 billion in federal money over 10 years to get states, localities, and the private sector to pour at least $800 billion into infrastructure projects. Administration officials have said the largest share of funding would be cash grants, the preference given to places that use taxes, tolls, or other revenue to reduce reliance on federal funding. Democrats have said $200 billion isn't nearly enough federal investment to meet the nation's needs. Griffin said the White House is open to conversations on that point. The president may also unveil plans to streamline regulatory approvals, and what he's pitched is a bid to get infrastructure projects moving faster and increase the burden on developers. Opponents say that Trump is cutting more than needless red tape, and instead is threatening basic environmental and safety regulations that ensure roads, bridges, and pipelines are properly assessed for their potential impact. On Sunday, the White House denied it was considering changes that could leave the environment vulnerable. The administration has no plans to gut the Clean Air Act or Clean Water Act, Short said. What you've seen really over the last year is, by rolling back the burdensome regulations the previous administration had put in place, the economy has taken off. Trump will also address immigration, policy area where Republicans and Democrats are deeply divided, and was the main sticking point of this month's government shutdown. Trump's plan would offer deportation protection and a pathway to citizenship for as many as 1.8 million people under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, known as DACA. In exchange, the White House wants $25 billion for construction of the U.S.-Mexico border wall and for additional border and port security. The president also wants to eliminate a program that gives preferential status to the families of U.S. citizens and immigrants and to eliminate the visa lottery program. On television tonight, ABC, WTVD Channel 11, WPDE Channel 15, from 8 to 8:30, Fresh Off the Boat. And from 8:30 to 9, another episode of Fresh Off the Boat. From 9 to 11, State of the Union 2018, the President addresses the nation live. NBC, WRAL Channel 5, WECT Channel 6, and WMBF Channel 32. From 8 to 9, Lethal Weapon, robbery homicide case is investigated. From 9 to 10:30, the State of the Union 2018, the President addresses the nation live. And from 10:30 to 11, the news. CBS, WNCN Channel 17, and WBTW Channel 13. From 8 to 9, Super Bowl Greatest Commercials 2018. From 9 to 11, State of the Union 2018, the President addresses the nation live. Fox, WRAZ, Channel 50, WGHP, Channel 8, WSFX, Channel 26. PBS, WUNC, Channel 4, WUNU, and WUNJ. From 8 to 9, we'll meet again, and from 9 to 11, the State of the Union 2018. A&E, Channel 21. From 8 to 9, Intervention, a meth and painkiller addict needs help. From 9 to 10, Intervention, events from the current season. From 10 to 11, Undercover High, a former student is killed. AMC, Channel 41. From 8 to 10:30, a two-star science fiction film from 1993, Demolition Man, starring Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. The frozen cop is thawed out to capture an old nemesis. Beginning at 10:30, a three-star war film from 2001, Black Hawk Down, starring Josh Hartnett and Ewan McGregor. Channel 42, the Discovery Channel, from 7 to 9, Moonshiners, seeking Aqua and Grappa. Tim hunts for water at his new site. From 9 to 10, Moonshiners. Moonshiners' friendships and rivalries. From 10 to 11, Moonshiners, Backwoods Shiner. TVN Channel 68 from 8 to 9, Praise the Lord. From 9 to 9:30, Joseph Prince. From 9:30 to 10, Max Lucado. From 10 to 10:30, Joyce Meyer. And from 10:30 to 11, Leading. TBS Channel 24 from 8 to 10:30, 5 back-to-back episodes of The Big Bang Theory. From 10:30 to 11, The Detour, The Stop. Turner Classic Movies Channel 54 from 8 to 10, a 4-star movie from 1933, King Kong, starring Fay Wray and Bruce Cabot. The captive gigantic ape escapes and rampages through New York. And from 10 to midnight, a 3-star comedy from 1968, The Producers, starring Zira Mostel, Gene Wilder, and Dick Shawn. The Learning Channel, Channel 23, from 8 to 9, My Big Fat Fabulous Life. From 9 to 10, I Am Jazz. And from 10 to 11, Seeking Sister's Wife. And TNT, Channel 28, from 8 to 10:30, NBA Basketball, Cleveland Cavaliers at Detroit Pistons Live. And beginning at 10:30, NBA Basketball, the Trailblazers at the Clippers. And that's what's on television tonight. FBI's McCabe vacates post by Eric Tucker and Sadie Gurman, the Associated Press, Washington. FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, a frequent target of aggressive criticism from President Donald Trump, has stepped down from his position ahead of his planned retirement this spring, people familiar with the decision said Monday. A 22-year veteran of the FBI, McCabe has held a number of leadership roles and has been heavily involved in investigations into major crimes, including the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. But he's been publicly and repeatedly lambasted over the past year by Trump, who has accused him of bias because of his wife's political connections in an FBI investigation that produced no criminal charges against Hillary Clinton. McCabe, who becomes eligible for retirement in a matter of weeks, informed FBI staff on Monday that he was leaving the Bureau's #2 post effective immediately, according to people who spoke only on condition of anonymity to discuss an internal personnel move. He's expected to retire with full pension benefits. The departure comes as FBI Director Christopher Wray makes changes to a senior leadership team, placing 2 other top aides last week. Such changes are not unusual when a new director takes charge, but they are notable amid Trump's public pressure on Wray to get rid of officials who were confidants of Comey. McCabe has been repeatedly assailed by Trump since the fall of 2016, and it was revealed that his wife had accepted campaign contributions from the Political Action Committee of Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, a Democrat and close Hillary Clinton ally, during a failed state Senate run. The FBI has said McCabe received the necessary ethics approval before his wife received the donations, and that at the time of the contributions, he was not in a supervisory role of the FBI's investigation into Clinton's email use. But that has not stopped Trump and Republican lawmakers in Congress from repeatedly asserting that McCabe and other FBI officials are partisan law enforcement officials harboring a bias against them. Upon December news reports that McCabe would retire, the president wrote, "How can FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, the man in charge, along with leaking James Comey of the phony Hillary Clinton investigation, including her 33,000 illegally deleted emails, be given $700,000 for wife's campaign by Clinton puppets during investigation?" Another of the president's tweets from last year said, "Why didn't AG Sessions replace acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, a Comey friend who was in charge of Clinton investigation," referring to Attorney General Jeff Sessions. White House spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders told reporters Monday that Trump was not part of the decision-making process, but that he stood by his criticism of McCabe. Imagine Dragons frontman advocates for LGBT Mormons by Brady McCombs and Ryan Pearson, the Associated Press, Park City, Utah. The Mormons frontman of the rock band Imagine Dragons hopes the Sundance Film Festival documentary that follows his journey to becoming an advocate for LGBT Mormon youth triggers real change by his church's leaders and puts an end to what he calls shaming of gay and lesbian kids in the faith. Singer Dan Reynolds said he and director Don Argot made the film Believer to put a face to the faceless and a voice to the voiceless. His goal is to show leaders from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that opposition to same-sex relationships is damaging the self-worth of gay, lesbian, and transgender kids. These kids are being told their most innate sense of being is sinful, said Reynolds, a Mormon from Las Vegas. Shaming is so destructive. The film received a standing ovation at its premiere January 21st in Park City, set to air on HBO in the summer. The Utah-based Mormon faith of 16 million members worldwide is holding firm to doctrinal opposition of gay marriage and homosexual activity while trying to foster an empathetic stance toward LGBT people and in bullying. Last year, church leaders updated a website created in 2012 to let members know that attraction to people of the same sex is not a sin or a measure of their faithfulness and may never go away. But the church reminded members that being in an intimate same-sex relationship is a sin because it violates fundamental doctrinal beliefs that will not change. In the film, Argot follows Reynolds, a former Mormon Tyler Glenn, a gay lead singer of Neon Trees, as they planned a Love Loud Festival, a concert last summer in Utah headlined by Imagine Dragons that raised funds for organizers supporting at-risk LGBT youth. The Mormon Church supported the festival, praising organizers for bringing people together to address teen safety and to express respect and love for all of God's children. Church spokesman Eric Hawkins said in a statement Tuesday that religion support of that festival was part of a message that's not new for the faith. They repeatedly denounced cruelty, rejection, bullying, and the mistreatment of others, Hawkins said. He lobbied in support of Utah's strong anti-discrimination laws. The church message is one of hope, compassion, and understanding. We want our LGBT brothers and sisters to know that there is a place for them and their contributions in the church. There's more to do, and we remain fully committed to these efforts moving forward. Reynolds, 30, said in an interview this week that platitudes from church officials about love for LGBT Mormons and telling them there's a place for them isn't enough. He has talked with church leaders about the issue and hopes to continue doing so, but said the church's platitudes are empty words unless it changes its doctrine to accommodate gay marriage and homosexual sex. The Mormon Church has shown no indication it will consider changing the belief. Members believe church doctrine can be altered only through revelations from God. Asked by reporters last week about how the faith will deal with LGBT issues going forward, new church president Russell M. Nelson, one of his top counselors, said they are trying to balance the love of the Lord and the law of the Lord. Nelson previously defended the church's 2015 decision to adopt new rules banning children living with gay parents from being baptized until age 18, and clarifying that people in same-sex relationships are considered apostates, meaning they can be kicked out of their religion. Reynolds said rising suicide rates in Utah were a big reason behind his decision to make the film, which follows his life for a year as he and Tyler decide to create a Loveland Festival. Pipeline tree clearing work to begin. The company planning to build a $5 billion natural gas pipeline that will end in Pembroke plans to start cutting down trees in Cumberland and Robeson counties this week. Atlantic Coast Pipeline LLC, which won approval of a key water quality certification from the State Department of Environmental Quality on Friday, was formed by Dominion Energy, Duke Energy, and Southern Company Gas to build a 600-mile pipeline from West Virginia to North Carolina. The plan calls for about 186 miles of the 36-inch pipeline to go through North Carolina, running through the northeast corner of Sampson County and eastern Cumberland County before ending in Robeson County. The company will begin limited tree felling and vegetation clearing this week, according to a statement released Monday by Aaron Ruby, a Dominion Energy spokesman. This pre-construction work will be done on foot using handheld equipment, the statement said. We'll only be working where we've reached easement agreements with landowners who will receive an advance notice before we begin work on their properties. The pipeline is expected to run near Godwin, Wade, Eastover, Cedar Creek, and Gray's Creek in Cumberland County, close to St. Paul's in Robeson County, before it ends near Pembroke. Construction of the pipeline is expected to start this spring, according to the statement. Pipeline opponents say they are concerned about potential dangers from the project and that the state should rely more on renewable energy, such as solar and wind power. Supporters say they believe the pipeline is safe and will provide a clean source of power that will lower the cost of energy and will help economic development in the area. And this concludes today's reading of the Fayetteville Observer, dated Tuesday, January 30th, 2018. Your host has been Robert King. Please continue to listen to the Southeastern North Carolina Radio Reading Service, a United Way partner agency, for additional local and regional news. Enjoyed being with you this morning. Thank you for tuning us in, and have a wonderful day.
I certainly hope you enjoyed it. I'm Fred Black, reading for the Triangle Radio Reading Service. Today's reading of our state was sponsored by Carter Glass Insurance.